Los Angeles, I'm and most Hollywood nights. She goes to California, oh, California.
California. What you say about Los Angeles?
LA got the people saying.
You're listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. Welcome to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. I'm Josh Guesman, and on today's show, I'm going to recap the controversial 4-1 win in the U.S. Open Cup that took place on Tuesday night. We'll talk sportsmanship, legality, and the building negative narrative that is surrounding the game. Then I'm going to update you on LA Galaxy news that's floating around, including the Galaxy's Pride Night that's coming up midweek when LA takes on Colorado. And finally, I'm going to get you ready for the big game this weekend as LA gets back to MLS action and travels to take on Toronto FC on Saturday. It may be a quick show, but we've got you covered from every corner. Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com starts right now. You're listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. Now here's your host, Josh Guesman. Hello everybody and welcome to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. I am your host, Josh Guesman. So happy to be with you on this wonderful Thursday night as I'm recording. U.S. men's national team getting ready to kick off here in just about 30 minutes as I'm recording live as well. I'm sure by the time most of you listen to this, that game will be over. Josh Guesman looking to play again for the U.S. men's national team and continue his fine run of form, actually, whenever you take a look at it. Josh Guesman looking good. Looking very good as far as what he will be when he returns to the LA Galaxy. So that's good news. That's the good news for everything. We got some fun to talk about. We had U.S. Open Cup. Of course, everybody's talking about that. That's always fun. Cup soccer gets a little crazy, and I think you have to understand that. You have to understand that, the amateur teams and facing the big teams like the LA Galaxy, that's really what Cup soccer is all about, and that's what U.S. Open Cup has become. It's a chance for these amateur teams like La Máquina, who played with heart and passion whenever they played against the LA Galaxy, despite probably lacking the physical fitness that they should have maybe had. Coming in to face an LA Galaxy professional team that's won an MLS Cup 5 times, that won the U.S. Open Cup twice. It's something to think about whenever you're trying to place what U.S. Open Cup means to the LA Galaxy or to fans in general. This whole experience, the experience that you got on Tuesday night, the 4,200 of you that showed up, myself and my son included, that's a special thing that doesn't happen all the time. And I think that as much as people love underdogs and they love the NCAA tournament, you could get that right here with the LA Galaxy, with U.S. Open Cup. If you take a look at this, look at this amateur team, La Máquina from Santa Ana, not too far up the road from where the CoG Studios is located. They come in and face off against the juggernaut that is the LA Galaxy, and not only do things, break their way, they take the LA Galaxy to extra time. This is all stuff of dreams made. These are more or less Sunday League guys, although certainly more dedicated than I ever was at my Sunday League. But nonetheless, it was an interesting game. If you didn't enjoy that game for the spectacle it was, then you're missing something. All right, you're missing out on what U.S. Open Cup means, and I think that's important to understand in the whole outcome of what happened with the LA Galaxy. Obviously, LA Galaxy advanced over La Máquina, the amateur team, at StubHub Center on Tuesday night, 4-1. Took them to extra time. Took 120 minutes of soccer for the LA Galaxy to find their way past an amateur side. And if you just look at it that way, it doesn't tell the whole story. If you look at the scoreline and you say 4-1, LA Galaxy pretty much killed them. That doesn't tell the whole story. So if you look at all of those things just from the fact that you read a highlight, or you read the highlights afterwards, or you read a story even my story afterwards on cornerofthegalaxy.com, if you read all that and you do all that, you didn't get the full story of the night. It was a very much split crowd as far as the LA Galaxy fans and the La Máquina fans. 4,700 people there. You could have said there were 2,000 people there from La Máquina. I would probably believe you. They were loud. They were boisterous. It was fun. It was a fun atmosphere. That's another thing. U.S. Open Cup, this is different. This is why you need to go to these games, though. All right? Let's not make a mistake about that. You should be going to these games. I know it's midweek. I know it's difficult to get up to L.A. and wherever you're coming from. It took me an hour, and I had a carpool buddy. I took my son to his first professional soccer game, which is kind of fun. He enjoyed it. I obviously have to thank everybody at the LA Galaxy. I got to take him up to where I normally work in the press box. He got to say hi to everybody there. Got a quick snack in the press box, which was nice. And then we went down and we watched the first half from the stands. We left at halftime. I did end up watching the whole game, by the way. I got home in time to watch the rest of the match and didn't miss too much. But you have to understand where this game started. And to do that, you really have to start with even the starting lineup. You had Clement Diop making his first ever LA Galaxy start as a senior team player here in goal. You had Oscar Sorto, an LA Galaxy 2 guy, making a senior team start. You had AJ De La Garza, a guy who has not been playing for the senior team that much, gets the start in this game. Leonardo gets the start in this game. Dave Romney, obviously coming up from LA Galaxy 2 last year, signing, gets the start. Raul Mendiola, Rafael Garcia, Jeff Lorenowitz, Big Red gets a start in the center. Again, all guys who aren't necessarily getting all of the starting spots that you would expect. All right, so you had, in addition to Jeff Lorenowitz, you had Emmanuel Boateng, you had Jose Villarreal, and you had Alan Gordon. All right, that was your starting lineup. First of all, I want to say there's people out there who are going to say, Bruce didn't take it seriously again, and you could tell by the lineup that he put out. Remove your head from your behind if that's what you're thinking. The LA Galaxy were going up against an amateur team. You have a team full of professionals. Whether they're at LA Galaxy 2 for most of the year or whether they're with the senior team and playing for LA Galaxy, you're talking about professional soccer players. Professional soccer players should beat amateur soccer players. That's not even counting the fact that I think La Máquina is very skilled. All right, I think they're very skilled. I thought they played excellent. If you look at how they played this whole game, La Máquina executed their game plan perfectly, and thanks to Rafael Garcia, the LA Galaxy got to play with one arm tied behind their back and playing with 10 guys for, 73 minutes, and then another 30 minutes on top of that. So, 103 minutes of not playing 11 guys, 11v11. That's a problem. You want to know where this game went sideways? It was after the LA Galaxy scored. Jose Villarreal got a great ball from Raul Mendiola, basically chested the ball into the back of the net. They undid the La Máquina defense. It was what you'd expect. And the LA Galaxy showed a lot in the first 15 minutes. It showed they looked like they were going to dominate the possession, and they looked like they were going to dominate on the scoreboard. Then Rafa Garcia goes in with a 2-footed challenge that is probably the most clear-cut red card I've ever seen. We talk about horror tackles because Nigel de Jong clearly had a horror tackle on Darlington Nagbe. We remember that one. This is way worse than that, and it won't be talked about. 2 feet. It wasn't even close. It was a clear red card. Everybody knew it was a red card. And my son said that this is why he tells everybody that he wants to be a police officer and not a professional soccer player, because he saw the La Máquina player on the ground after Rafa 2-footed him rolling around on the ground. And he goes, because you could get hurt if you're a soccer player. He's almost 5, so he has an understanding. He gets it. But anyway, that's where everything changes. From here on out, all bets are off. And you had to actually, I don't know about you guys, I actually enjoyed watching the rest of the game just because you knew that the Galaxy had their backs up against the wall and they were going to have to do something. And they were going to have to play very hard against a team that was going to be able to sit back on them and just defend. And that's what La Máquina did. And they got out on the counterattack. And clearly, we know that in the 20, let's see if I can get this right. In the 28th minute, it was a ball that went over the top that AJ De La Garza was chasing down. Captain for the night, AJ De La Garza, was chasing down. Edwin Barboa was chasing right behind him, and AJ tried to head the ball back to Diop. That went horribly wrong. La Máquina scored. And that's all she wrote as far as the scoring in the first 90 minutes. The LA Galaxy had a lot of chances in the second half. You have to give it, obviously, up to Luis Sosa, The goalkeeper, he might be a legend now. The goalkeeper for La Máquina making some key saves. One of their defenders cleared the ball off the line as well. I mean, there were lots of close calls for the LA Galaxy. But nothing went in regular time, and quite honestly, it looked like that wasn't going to change in extra time. And this is where we get to the controversy. This is where everything hinges and turns around, and this is where people who didn't watch the game will watch one highlight and one crappy article from Deadspin, or maybe 20 seconds from Pardon the Interruption on ESPN, or anybody else who thinks that they have a voice in soccer is going to tell you how the LA Galaxy cheated an amateur team out of a win. They cheated an amateur team out of a chance to compete. Jose Villarreal in the 95th minute or so goes screaming through the La Máquina defense. They had nothing. They had no answer for him. The only answer was to foul him inches from the inside the penalty box. Very, very close. Right at the top of the box. Clear foul. I think it even resulted in a yellow card. It was an obvious play that they had to take him out because he was going to be through the defense. It was that simple. So Jose Villarreal on the ground doesn't look too hurt. Now, if you read the reports, apparently Jose Villarreal, and I'm stealing this from Twitter, apparently Jose Villarreal's intestines were like spilling out, and all the La Máquina defenders were back there trying to push his intestines back in. This is obviously a dramatization. That wasn't really happening. What was happening is Jose Villarreal had a cramp. And what was happening was Jack McBean was helping Jose Villarreal stretch that cramp. And if you listen to Baggio Husidic and what he said after the game, he said, I asked the referee for the whistle because he wanted the 10 yards, and the referee didn't answer. So, seeing that the referee didn't answer and seeing that Dave Romney was onside and off to the left, Baggio Husidic played the ball to Dave Romney, and Dave Romney scored. It was that simple. You're going to hear a lot of stuff that says that, again, that the Galaxy somehow, that was poor sportsmanship because La Máquina was back helping Jose Villarreal. They were standing around him. They were catching their breath. They were out of breath. This is late into extra time. Lots of things could have happened. And this isn't Josh saying that, the LA Galaxy are some angel team. I certainly don't think so. I called Nigel de Jong dirty. I'm okay with that. I don't know if Nigel's okay with that, but I'm okay with that. So it's not about the LA Galaxy being this perfect team. But in this case, what did they do? They did the professional thing. This is the professional thing. It's to take advantage of an opponent who's not paying attention. And that's what this opponent was doing. They were tired. They were standing, almost all the La Máquina players were in one spot. Nobody was covering the left side attacking or the right side defense. Nobody was covering over there. There were 2 LA Galaxy players standing over there. Nobody was standing on the ball, making sure that Baggio Husidic couldn't play the ball, which is, of course, we know. And this wasn't a La Máquina player down in the box. That's a completely different story. We talk about kicking the ball out whenever a player gets injured. But that's usually, it's one team has the ball, it's the other team's player who's injured, and then you decide to play on, or all those things. How many times have we seen an attacking team choose to play on whenever one of their guys goes down, and that's just accepted, it's fine. That's what happened in this instance, is the LA Galaxy chose to play on. Jose Villarreal had already been checked out by the referee. Referee talked to Jose Villarreal, and Jose was like, hey, I'm okay. I just got a cramp. So Jack McBean, he's helping Jose Villarreal stretch out his cramp. So there's 2 players down for the LA Galaxy, which means that they're basically, so you had 9 players in the field, minus 2 that are help with stretching. You have 7 guys in the field, plus Diop in the back, and 8 that are actually available to be involved in this play. And you had 11 La Máquina players that paid no attention, and Dave Romney scored. And that's what happened. And you know what this proves? You know what this says? Is that a professional team outthought an amateur team, and an amateur team made an amateur mistake. To say anything else other than that is to cheapen what La Máquina was able to do to the LA Galaxy for 96 minutes, which was frustrate them to no end, to get them to have one of their guys ejected, and to put themselves in a position to win this game. Now, if you're looking at the scoreline and you say it's 4-1, and the LA Galaxy ran away with this, so take that goal off and see what it is, you can't say that either. That's not the argument. You can't make that argument either. So don't start trying to make that argument that goal didn't matter because the Galaxy still scored. The goal absolutely mattered. The goal absolutely changed the game, and it was that goal that put the LA Galaxy through. I have 0 problems with it. It has legally, as far as the referee gets to decide whether or not he wants to allow that to go quickly, and being that he didn't hear Baggio Husidic,
And he didn't offer up the 10 yards, and he didn't say wait for the whistle, and he could have blown it dead at any time as soon as Baggio Husidic played it, and he said, nope, we're playing. He even waves his arm and says, we're playing. Then there's nothing illegal about it. Máquina filed an appeal. I don't believe it's gone anywhere because we actually already have the announcements of the round of 16, the LA Galaxy advancing in the U.S. Open Cup, and they deserve to advance. It's that simple. The LA Galaxy deserve to advance. People will argue. People are going to say all sorts of things. Quite honestly, people can say whatever they want. The LA Galaxy dodged a bullet there. Quite honestly, it was. And as a Galaxy fan, you shouldn't be very happy with the performance. You should be happy that they advanced. There were some good performances in there. Jack McBean got a chance, obviously, on a short-term loan. I don't know if everybody knew that. But Covarrubias and McBean both got called up to LA Galaxy, the senior team, on short-term loans. Bruce called out Jack, and he said, I thought Jack McBean's 60 minutes were excellent. He also called out Jose Villarreal and said that he hung in there for 120 minutes, which he thought was surprising. Raul Mendiola had an excellent game for us tonight. He never stopped, and in a game like that, you have to have that kind of energy out of a player for 120 minutes is pretty remarkable. Sebastian Lletget gets a brace on the backside, a penalty kick, and a goal from the run of play. That is your 4-1 score. The LA Galaxy now advance to play the Portland Timbers. Listen, playing home games is where you want it to be. The LA Galaxy don't get this home game, but they have been chosen to host the quarters if they can get past Portland. It's not the death sentence, but it's not an easy game. You don't want to go up to Portland to play this game because, quite honestly, Portland's going to sell out that U.S. Open Cup match. And then the LA Galaxy are going to have to go up there and try to win on the road. So, round of 16 starts on Wednesday, June 29th, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. LA Galaxy versus the Portland Timbers up at Providence Park. The round of 16 is on June 29th. If the Galaxy make it past that, the quarterfinals will be played on July 20th. LA Galaxy will play the winners of Seattle and Real Salt Lake, and the LA Galaxy will host that game if they get by Portland. So that's important to remember. Again, not the death sentence that I think it once was. Just looking at what could have possibly happened with away. The more home games you have in U.S. Open Cup, the better chances you have of surviving and moving on. So that's the good news for the LA Galaxy, on top of maybe a little bit of bad news, because quite honestly, facing Portland isn't something I think anybody wants to do. But if anybody wants to argue that the LA Galaxy don't deserve to be in the next round, they're probably a little crazy, or they didn't pay any attention to that game whatsoever. Like I said, I'm fine with the win. The LA Galaxy defeat La Máquina 4-1 in U.S. Open Cup play on Tuesday in front of about 4,200 people. Let's see if I get that right. It's either 42 or 47, and it's one of those because I always get them backwards. 4752 is the attendance. All right, see? Little dyslexia never hurt. My son had a great time. We left at halftime because he was getting tired. And so I think for his first soccer game, he enjoyed it. He saw the LA Galaxy score a goal. He jumped up and down. He was excited about it. Got to go up the press box and meet all of my coworkers and colleagues and friends at the LA Galaxy. So again, was a great time for me. And I think if you love the U.S. Open Cup, if you want the U.S. Open Cup to get bigger, then quite honestly, all the controversy that's coming around that the LA Galaxy are some cheating team and all this stuff just feeds into the U.S. Open Cup underdog, view. So don't get upset about it. Don't get angry about it. All right. It's one of those things. The LA Galaxy didn't play when another team's player was down. They played when their own player was down. That makes a world of difference. All right. Because you're going to see people start to twist things. All right. Already I've heard that Jose Villarreal was gravely injured. He was seriously injured on the play, and he's writhing in pain he had a cramp. He had a cramp. Jack McBean helped stretch that cramp. We took two players out of the play, and we're already down another player because of a red card, and the LA Galaxy still scored on a team that wasn't paying attention. And if this would have happened, if La Máquina would have scored on a play like that, you can bet the narrative would have been, these guys are so smart, they took care of the LA Galaxy, this is embarrassing. So regardless, the LA Galaxy couldn't win. The only way they could have won was to stay with 11 players and completely drill La Máquina until they didn't have a chance anymore. That's what ended up happening, but it just took longer. That's all. So there is the U.S. Open Cup talk. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a very quick break, all right? And whenever I get back, we're going to go ahead and go over LA Galaxy news and get you ready for Toronto FC. All right, so still a bunch to get to. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com.
Canary down the mine. That's all this was, a war.
Ready for some more Corner of the Galaxy? Don't forget to head over to the website for all the latest podcasts, news, and more. Visit us online at cornerofthegalaxy.com.
Hey, this is Chris.
This is Eddie.
This is Jason.
And we're from Back Pocket Memory, and you're listening to Corner of the Galaxy.
And through this violence, we're growing
Welcome back to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. Josh Guesman here, all by my lonesome. Gonna go for about 15 more minutes before we get on out of here. Again, a little bit shorter show, but you only have me to listen to. I feel sorry for all of you. The LA Galaxy getting ready, obviously, to play a big game as they return to MLS action. Toronto FC on Saturday at 4:30 Pacific time. I'm going to preview that here in just a little bit, but I first wanted to go over the LA Galaxy news. The LA Galaxy to host Pride Night on Wednesday, June 22nd, as the LA Galaxy face off against the Colorado Rapids. This is a Wednesday night game, and it's the fourth consecutive Pride Night during a match at StubHub Center. This is always a good time. The reason I want to highlight this is that as the LA Galaxy celebrate the LGBTQ community in the game against Colorado, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday night, they're giving Pride Night tickets out, which start at just $20. So a great deal. Starting at just $20, those are the general admission tickets. They can be purchased at lagalaxy.com/pride. I don't know if you can see on the live stream. That's my Pride scarf right there. They're also doing a Pride scarf again. So if you get one of these $20 tickets, you can also get a scarf. Now, if you're like me who has season tickets or who sits in the press box and doesn't necessarily need a ticket to the game, you can also purchase this wonderful, wonderful thing. The Galaxy have teamed up with Covenant House, and if you buy a $20 ticket, it will be donated to Covenant House, all right? And you'll still get the scarf. So you get the scarf, you donate a ticket to Covenant House, and the donated tickets will help bring out homeless youth in the LGBT community. And so it's very interesting to sort of see how that all works. That's what I've done. I've purchased 2 tickets to be donated to Covenant House so I can get 2 scarves. I'll give one of those scarves away whenever we have one of our later shows. I invite all of you to do this. Quite honestly, it's $20 and you get a scarf. Guess how much scarves cost? They cost about $20. So you're getting a scarf. You can give a ticket to somebody who can then come to this game on Wednesday night. I invite everybody to do it. In fact, I challenge you to do it. In wake of everything that has happened in Orlando, I think it's only a compassionate thing to do, and quite honestly, in my mind, it's the right thing to do. So Pride Night on 6/22, that's Wednesday. It is against the Colorado Rapids, a 7:30 p.m. kickoff time. Always love those midweek games. It gets real crowded for the LA Galaxy here as we talk about some of the scheduling things that are coming down, and we're going to hit that in just a second here. As far as the schedule goes. Now, LA Galaxy have also been nominated for Sports Humanitarian Team of the Year. This is part of ESPN. It's for the 20 for 20 community initiative that the LA Galaxy did last year. So some good stuff. Here's the cool thing is they're going to an event on Tuesday, July 12th at the Conga Room at LA Live. They're one of the sponsors. The winner will be able to direct a $100,000 grant from ESPN to the qualified charity related to the award-winning humanitarian efforts. In this case, I believe it's the LA Galaxy Foundation. The finalists will be able to direct a $25,000 grant to the charity related to their award-winning efforts. I believe the LA Galaxy are already one of those finalists, so a $25,000 grant to the charity related to their award-winning efforts, which is pretty cool. Highlights of the evening will be showcased during a 30-minute program on ESPN. July 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so 4 p.m. Kickoff on the West Coast. Just good news. It's good. The only reason I bring it up is, 1, because it's a little bit slow of a news week, and 2, we've heard that the LA Galaxy, there's evil empire that don't do any good for any people, and quite honestly, it's just other MLS teams and other MLS fans who complain about that. The LA Galaxy, very active in the community, do a great job a lot of the time to do these different programs all across Los Angeles. So it's a good thing. Keep that in mind whenever you're seeing all of the hatred from a lot of the LA Galaxy rivals, basically. That's where it all comes down. So that's where we get all of that good and information there. I want to go over the schedule because the schedule, like I said, gets congested for the LA Galaxy coming up. You know about the Saturday game against Toronto FC, then it's Wednesday. So we go Saturday, Wednesday against the Colorado Rapids. The number 1 team in MLS is the Colorado Rapids. They're coming to StubHub Center. One of the only 2 losses the LA Galaxy have this year is to the number 1 team in soccer, the Colorado Rapids. This is a chance to knock the Colorado Rapids down below 2 points per game, which is something you're going to want to do if you're trying to chase those people. So then we go June 22nd, June 25th, another Saturday game. Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, San Jose Earthquakes at Stanford Stadium. This is the end of the Cali Classicos for 2016 unless these teams meet in the playoffs. That is a big game. Home, Monday, July 4th, Vancouver Whitecaps. However, in between there, we have to talk about the U.S. Open Cup match, June 29th. So it will go Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, and I believe 4 days from Saturday, so 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, I believe that's another Wednesday game. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you're going to go Tuesday game that we just had, Saturday game, Wednesday game, Saturday game, Wednesday game, Monday game. All right? It's not horrible, but that's a lot of games to be played. Look for the depth to be here for the LA Galaxy. July 9th is against Seattle, in Seattle. July 15th is home to the Houston Dynamo. July 23rd, my birthday, away to the Portland Timbers. And July 31st is again away to the Seattle Sounders. A tough stretch of games closing out June and going all the way through July for the LA Galaxy. Very, very interesting to see how they are able to fare this congested schedule. You take 2 weeks off, and now you get to play like every 4 days. So 4 or 5 days. It's going to be taxing on the LA Galaxy. If you're looking for some momentum to be built, maybe this isn't the time. Maybe they're going to have to wait a little bit. But quite honestly, can the LA Galaxy afford to wait? That's really where the question comes into about all of these things. All right. So now we're going to move on to the LA Galaxy facing off against Toronto FC. Or should I give you the standings? Maybe I should give you the standings for a little bit. Let's do that real quick. I always jump ahead of myself whenever I'm by myself. I'm scattered brain, so it works that way. The Eastern Conference standings, the Philadelphia Union are in first place over there on the east side. Number 2, New York Red Bulls, Montreal Impact, number 3. Number 4, New York City FC, and the LA Galaxy's opponent on Saturday, Toronto FC, is in 5th place, having played 13 games and getting a total points of 16. All right, they're over in the Western Conference. Colorado Rapids, like I said, in the number 1 position there, playing 14 games, having 28 points. FC Dallas having played 16 games at 28 points. Real Salt Lake, 23 points and 13 games. Vancouver, 21 points, 15 games. The LA Galaxy, 21 points, 13 games. San Jose Earthquakes, the LA Galaxy's opponent coming up shortly. 14 games, 20 points, right behind the LA Galaxy where you're at. Last place in all of these standings, the Chicago Fire, 11 points, having played 12 games. All right, number 1 overall standings, like I said, Colorado Rapids, your Supporters Shield front runners right now. Looking very dangerous, but again, 6-0-1 at home, 2-2-3 away. So the LA Galaxy will get to host that number 1 team coming in. It's going to be, again, I think it's a great game. I think it's going to be underplayed because nobody believes that the Colorado Rapids are for real. And I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think the Colorado Rapids are real right now, and they've been playing that way. But we'll see how everybody comes out of this break. These 2 weeks off, they have a way of messing with people. I think you saw the LA Galaxy take some time off and stumble a little bit there against La Máquina. But we're going to see how the rest of that goes. All right, so now we get to that Toronto FC game. As far as injuries go, of course, we were worried about Robbie Keane, who had an injury, hadn't played any games for Ireland. Well, he did play for Ireland. He has played for Ireland, and Robbie Keane looks like he's back in match-fit form. The other person you were worried about is Steven Gerrard. Heard he's in full training, expected to play against Toronto FC. So really, the only people you're going to miss are Robbie Keane and Jesse Zardes, who are away on international duty. Everybody else is available. A lot of people traveled up to this Toronto game because I'm not sure Bruce Arena knew exactly who was going to be ready after that La Máquina match where you got some players who probably shouldn't have been playing in there. Sebastian Lletget, Baggio Husidic, maybe even Jeff Laurentowicz for an extended period of time. Jose Villarreal going 120 minutes. Maybe perhaps he has some time in this Toronto game, although I think I would find that difficult to believe. All right. Toronto FC game is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 4:30 Pacific Time. Time Warner Cable Sportsnet, Time Warner Cable Deportes. All-time 14 meetings between the LA Galaxy and Toronto FC. Toronto's won 2 of those meetings. The LA Galaxy have won 6 of those meetings, and they have had 6 ties at Toronto. Toronto FC has won once. The Galaxy have won once, and they tied 4 times. So last year, whenever these two teams played, of course, you remember, the LA Galaxy routed Toronto 4-0. Robbie Keane with a hat trick in the 9th, 41st, and 59th minute, and Sebastian Lletget with a cleanup goal in the 94th minute of play. So that was the last game, 4-0, and that was the July 4th game last year. These two teams have played the same number of games, so we can at least certainly look at the comparison there. But Toronto FC were shut out at the attacking end for a second consecutive match. Their winless streak now at 4 matches following a 3-0 loss to the New York Red Bulls on May 28th. All right, TFC's current goalless streak is now up to 228 minutes. That is tied for the 9th longest in MLS this season. So Toronto's struggling to score goals despite the fact that they have Giovinco, who is possibly one of the greatest goal scorers MLS has seen. He's outstanding, but missing Michael Bradley, Josie Altidore out with a injury as well. So if not, he would be with the U.S. men's national team. So there's some international duties playing some havoc with Toronto FC and their lineup. But the Galaxy also have their own winless run, which is also at 4 matches. Remember the last game was a 0-0 draw against Sporting Kansas City on June 2nd, and it was the Galaxy's 4th draw in their last 6 matches. So the Galaxy have a 10-game undefeated streak in league play against Toronto FC, including shutout victories each of the last 2 seasons. Both of those matches have been at StubHub Center, whenever that happened. Since 2008, the Galaxy have won 5 out of their 10 meetings with 5 draws. TFC has not scored in the last 192 minutes in the series. Somehow I have a feeling that's going to change. All right, so the only other sort of interesting note is every time these two teams seem to play, or at least the last 4 times these two teams have played in all competitions at BMO Field, they've ended in draws. Okay, so the TFC last even won against the Galaxy came in 2008 when they swept the season series, also winning in Carson. So that's what you sort of have with these two teams, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see the LA Galaxy and Toronto FC play to a draw. I just... Nothing really screams, hey, both of these teams are in form right now. Let's see what's going to happen. The last 6 games for Toronto FC includes 1 win, 3 losses, and 2 draws. LA Galaxy, the last 6 games is 1 win, 1 loss, and 4 draws. LA Galaxy stacking up those draws, and that really is the difference between these two teams. Because when you look at wins, Toronto has 4 and the LA Galaxy has 5. When you look at losses, Toronto has 5 and the LA Galaxy have 2. Toronto has 4 draws. The LA Galaxy have 6 draws. Goals scored. The LA Galaxy have almost double the amount of goals that Toronto FC have scored. Toronto has 14 goals they've scored. LA Galaxy with 27. Goals conceded. Toronto has conceded 15, and the LA Galaxy 16. Just trying to put these guys on sort of an even level for these games. All right, there's something important about this. Giovinco gets caught offside all the time, which is one of the reasons that Toronto FC have been punished 35 times for offside, whereas the LA Galaxy have only been punished 21 times. It's, again, just one of those things in how they play. Giovinco likes to sit right up on that line. He will test the offside line all the time. You're looking for sort of key players for Toronto FC. Clint Irwin, their goalkeeper, is somebody who always can affect the game, whether good or bad. Drew Moore in defense. Will Johnson in midfield. Obviously, Portland Timbers, former Portland Timbers player Will Johnson in midfield can always do something. And of course, we've talked about Sebastian Giovinco, their leading goal scorer. He has 8 goals. Giovanni Dos Santos has 6 goals for the LA Galaxy. I do expect Giovanni Dos Santos, Steven Gerrard, Nigel de Jong, Jelle Van Dam, all those players back and ready to play for the LA Galaxy in this game. The LA Galaxy will have more of their players ready to go than Toronto FC should, and that should be the difference in this game if the LA Galaxy want to take it. The last time the LA Galaxy were on the road, they didn't take advantage of the fact that they had more talent on the field, and they need to figure something out. This is a game to look to steal for me. I think the LA Galaxy can win. I think they should win. If you look at just the average goal scoring in this game, Toronto scores 1.08 goals per game. LA scores 2.08 goals per game. Right? Granted, some of those goals for LA have come in blowout wins. Well, who cares once you're winning 3-1 if you score 2 more and it's 5-1? But that does mean something eventually. It means the LA Galaxy are able to put themselves in those positions, and Toronto has not been able to do that. Still think the weak link here for Toronto is their defense, although certainly the offense, without having, Josie Altidore and Michael Bradley being able to feed Sebastian Giovinco. You have Osorio in there, you have Endo, you have Babuli, and like I said, Will Johnson sort of sitting in the middle, Drew Moore in the back line, Beta Shore playing in the back line, Justin Morrow in the back line as well. All of those things, if you look at this isn't this isn't a balanced lineup, okay? This isn't a balanced lineup for the LA Galaxy as far as they should be the ones who have the more talent on the field. It'll be interesting to see what the starting lineup is. The fact that AJ De La Garza played in this U.S. Open Cup game leads me to believe that perhaps he's not going to play in this next game at Toronto. And being the fact he gave up a goal, he probably didn't make a great case for himself to do that. Although, quite honestly, it's AJ De La Garza, and we know what we're getting, and that's just a fluke. You throw that away. And I think that in this particular case, if you're going to put Daniel Steres, and if you're going to put Jelle Van Dam, and they're going to be in charge of trying to keep Sebastian Giovinco smaller, quicker, faster out of the penalty box, I'm worried about that. I think that's a mismatch. I would like to see AJ play in the center for Daniel Steres, and I'd like to see him shadow Giovinco as much as possible. You can still have Robbie Rogers in there. It'll be interesting to see Sebastian Lletget if he plays, being he played a lot all the way through extra time as well. So all those things sort of factor. Again, the LA Galaxy take on Toronto FC on June 18th. That's this Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. Time Warner Cable Sportsnet, Time Warner Cable Deportes is where you can find that game, all right? All right, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to go over. Again, brush off that La Máquina win. That was fine. That's good. That's what you want for your team. I want a smart team. I want a smart team that's willing to take advantage of a team when they're not paying attention. Any other narrative that comes out of this I find completely false and just over-exaggerated hype. All right, I'm with Bruce on this one. I think the media are hyping this way too much. And whenever you have Deadspin, who normally, watches soccer with two eyes closed, comment on something, then you know that clearly this is the media hyping something out to where it doesn't need to be. All right. All right. That does it for me here. If you're looking for me on Twitter, it's at Guesman, JGUESMAN. And of course, at Galaxy Podcast is our Twitter handle for the show. Go to cornerofthegalaxy.com/anything. Shop, buy yourself a magnet, go to the live shows as well, where we broadcast all of our Thursday shows. All of our Corner of the Galaxy shows are live, and you can find a schedule on that show right there. You can go to our YouTube channel, Corner of the Galaxy, and subscribe, so that way you'll know everything that's going on and when it's happening here at Corner of the Galaxy, all right? Hope to see everybody out there in the game on Wednesday for Pride Night. Please look at that donation for tickets, all right? Call your season ticket holder rep. If you don't have a season ticket holder rep, call the office and tell them you want to donate anyway, because that's just a steal and a deal, all right? You get a scarf, somebody else gets a ticket. That's a win-win for everybody, all right? Everybody be safe. Have a good time. Anybody going up to Toronto, tweet at me. Say hi. I'm Josh Guesman, and you've been listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. Goodbye, everybody.
You've been listening to the Corner of the Galaxy podcast on cornerofthegalaxy.com. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Galaxy Podcast. And be sure to check out and subscribe to iTunes, Stitcher, and Facebook by searching for Corner of the Galaxy. And for all of your independent LA Galaxy news, discussion, and entertainment, including this podcast, head on over to cornerofthegalaxy.com. Fans, thanks for listening. We ask that you be kind and courteous to your neighbors as you leave the podcast. We thank you for joining us and look forward to seeing you again. Until then, I'm Michael Araujo, and on behalf of the entire Corner of the Galaxy crew, goodbye, everybody.